morning. So I'm living out of a very tiny hotel room here in Tokyo for the next couple of days. It's a quarantine hotel. I just came back into Japan from having to spend some time overseas, not by choice by any means. And this quarantine hotel is very strict and a bit of a mess. So let's get changed and get this place tidied up a bit so I can show you around. And there we go. I think we're all cleaned up, and I guess this counts as the official room tour because this is the entire thing. This is the whole room. On the plus side, it's got plenty of mirrors, which kind of make it feel better. The view isn't super terrible, so I'll show you that in a minute. And there's storage space under the bed, which kind of opens up some space. Don't be confused, this is not a door. The bathroom is a fairly standard, tiny Japanese hotel bathroom. There is a TV, which has Apple Play, which doesn't work, so yay, thanks for that. And it's also worth mentioning that these hotels are Appa Hotel, which are famously known for their incredibly racist literature that's usually in the... But I have searched and searched and searched, and magically, the racist literature seems to have been removed from the government-subsidized quarantine hotel. And the view isn't super terrible. You got kind of half of the Skytree over there. The area of Asakusa, where I used to live, is down there. And you can see the river down there. We're in Ryogoku right now, which is Tokyo's sumo town.
We deliver to your meals outside of your room. Please wearing a mask and careful absent-mindedly locked yourself out of your room with the key left inside.
And that is the announcement saying that breakfast has been delivered. Let's see what we've got this morning. Food has been interesting to say the least. Think someone's practicing the trumpet? Who? Bottle of water. Okay. Wonderful. So it's about the same as yesterday. Let me give you a peek. So this is what the meals look like. All the meals are free, and don't let the camera quality fool you. They are not really anything to write home about. They come cold, and there's no microwave in here, and they're incredibly, incredibly dry. I'm pretty sure they're all several days old, but again, at least it's food. And what is this egg? It just, look, it doesn't even droop over. It's so solid that it's a UFO. That's what it is. In some ways, I almost prefer yesterday's basically bread only breakfast, but there's a tomato, so. It tastes like fish. What? Oh, I wasn't expecting it. I don't mind fish, but when you're expecting tomato and you get, okay. Bottle of water. Oh. No, I want to try something. They say that we can order Uber Eats in here, but the manual for the stay here, and it is a manual that they gave us, says that any deliveries made won't actually be handed off to the room until the next morning. How would that work with, there's no way that works with food. Does it? It's only one way to find out, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. All right, order placed. I also don't want to just completely waste this. I'm telling you, I'm not touching that egg, but I do like daikon radish, so daikon is edible. The rice, it's just so dry. Let's make some coffee. Seems like a totally fine space to have this. Very safe. And at least once a day I get to have them call me and check in, so here we go. Confirm your whereabouts from the Health Monitoring Center for Overseas Entrants. Make sure your face and background are clearly visible. This call will automatically disconnect in 30 seconds. Thank you for your cooperation. They take this stuff pretty seriously. Like, you have to wake up early in the morning and take your temperature, report your health condition before 8 a.m. and then they call you at least once throughout the day to make sure that you are where you're supposed to be. And remember earlier when I said that this place is really strict, so even when we go pick up our food, we have to have our masks on and whatnot. Last night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, there was a group of 2 or 3 people standing out in the hallway with no masks, talking away. And I was like, wow, it went on for a while. It was probably a good 15, 20 minutes. And then a fairly large group of staff and enforcement showed up and was like, why are you out of your rooms? Do you not realize it? It outlines clearly in this document that you are not to be out of your room. And I was like, oh, they're in trouble. And then a few minutes later, I kind of tuned out, tried to go to sleep. And then a few minutes later, I heard like pleading and crying. And it didn't sound like they got taken back to their rooms. So it's almost frightening in some ways. Going through the airport was quite an experience of itself. I don't know how many stations I went to, but I was assigned a number. And you go from station to station to station. In total, from the time that I got off the airplane to the time that I actually left the airport itself was about 4 to 5 hours. I've had a couple friends who, like myself, for emergency reasons during the pandemic, have had to exit and then re-enter the country. And they've said that they wish that on nobody, that it's an experience that they hope that nobody else has to happen. I get why. And as for why I even had to leave the country in the first place, it's not something that I ever wanted to do during the pandemic, but unfortunately I suffered a fairly heavy non-COVID related family loss and needed to head back and spend time helping out family and taking care of all of that. It's also the reason why I haven't uploaded. It's probably been the longest break that I've ever taken on YouTube so far, but it seems like the water is done boiling, so let's make some coffee. Individually plastic wrapped cups. Japan and plastic, man. I will be all right, by the way. Loss is something that we all just kind of need to go through, and taking the time and going back and seeing family was, while unfortunate in the circumstances, I think very much what I needed. So one of the downsides being that I had to kind of throw away 1 or potentially 2 videos that just the overall theme and atmosphere just didn't, they're gone. But that is very hot coffee. But there will be no shortage of adventures this year. And if anything, recent events have just kind of pushed me to really make the best of what we got. Live life to the fullest, as if I wasn't already. But you can actually kind of see the top of the sky tree now. Alright, so it is 10:50 right now. I just got a call from the Uber driver saying that he's delivering stuff downstairs. Let's see how long it takes to actually deliver it. Okay, so they called me. Seems like they're just gonna deliver it. That makes sense. I shouldn't be this surprised. But Japanese, as you probably already know, love to follow the rules. So I half expected them to actually hold on to it until tomorrow morning. After 11, so it took a little while. Got myself some karaage, and simply because it was the restaurant with the shortest wait time, I got myself some taco rice with avocado. This is gonna be like the first half decent meal I've had in 3 or 4 days. I was so exhausted on the way back that I slept through both meals and the snack. So I woke up hungry and then spent 5 hours in an airport and then came to this. You know, I know it's such a small and stupid thing, but this right here with my meal and getting to create again, this is my happiest moment since landing in Japan like 2-3 days ago. My quarantine is only going to be 3 days in a hotel, and then tomorrow, here's the crazy part. Tomorrow they take me from the hotel, which is 20 minutes from my house, all the way back to Narita Airport. Yeah, they take me back to Narita Airport, where I have to arrange a special non-public transportation form of getting home, like a hired car, or there are now also special trains and buses that will take you from Narita Airport into the city, just for those who are coming in for the sake of quarantine. But once you get in, you're not allowed to walk and you're not allowed to take public transportation. So I have to hire a car to take me from the station to my house. Also, come to think about it, this is probably the first hot meal I've had in easily 5 to 6 days. So the temperature of my meal is never something that I've given any form of thought to before. Hot meal, cold meal, never really cared. But when you haven't had a hot meal in a couple days, it just goes to it's something to be grateful for. A hot meal is something to appreciate. So. Alright, so full confession, I may have taken a 4 or 5 hour nap. I took a 5-hour nap because I'm an adult and that's the kind of thing that I'm allowed to do. Also, fun fact about this view over here. This is one of my favorite views in Japan for kind of a weird reason. I used to live down this way in Asakusa and I had almost the same view as this from my balcony. You've got the mountains out there, sky tree over there, and up here is the north. But you see, in Japan, weather tends to move from the west to the east, and so the clouds that you get going across here tend to be some of the most interesting and beautiful clouds. In the summer, you get these giant summer storm clouds and lightning all through here. I absolutely love it. It has always been one of my favorite views in Japan, and despite me calling down before my nap and asking them not to deliver me lunch, it seems they delivered me a lunch and they don't accept it back once it's been delivered. So let's see what my 5 p.m. lunch is. It looks like we're gonna have some kind of fried cutlet or koroke here. Bit of mashed potato. Let's find out which it is. I'm nervous because there was a little bit of an incident with yesterday's dinner. I was super excited to get it. It looked spectacular. Yeah, that was distracting. And it ended in absolute disaster. All right, after 3 fairly subpar meals so far, this one, I can't even see it, so hopes are high. Actually, that's the best meal so far. That is not bad. It's so bad. How is it so bad? Oh. The entire thing is stale. It is. This is the worst food I think I've ever. This is definitely the worst meal so far. It feels like it's been sitting in this container for 3 days to a week. This tastes awful. Something tells me eating this cardboard here would taste as good or better than this, because this is god awful. I give up. I give up on this meal. It tastes like the rice has been washed with soap or something. This is soap. I went to bed hungry last. I couldn't eat it. I tried. I really tried, but let's see how this works out. Not gonna lie, not much better. What are they doing with this food? It's definitely not meant to be eaten cold. And it's starting to get really dark in here, but I don't want to turn on the ceiling light because everything turns so orange and gross, and I prefer it without the orange. So, although it's a little moody, turn that off. See, I like it a bit better. 20 pages, 10 sheets in total for this manual, by the way. And then has entire pages used for things like this, just requesting you to separate your trash. Instructions and information for that. But when I came into the country, I had to sign this pledge, and it seems like it's updated every couple of weeks and is riddled with spelling errors, by the way. So if the Japanese government sees this, you might want to work on that. It is the whole pledge seems kind of fine. It's basically, I'll link it down below so you can read through it if you want to. There's this little section at the end of the pledge that says if you violate any of this, you agree that your name and nationality may be published and your residence status could be revoked and you could potentially be deported. It's a scary pledge to sign. I don't plan on violating it, so I'm almost definitely gonna be okay, but still, it's far from comforting. You know what, let's... Done work for the day, might even relax, take a bath, watch a movie. But there's actually one really important thing. You see, when I left Japan, I did so in a huge hurry and a huge rush, and I needed some help. And there were a couple friends who really stepped up at the last minute and came all the way out to Tokyo to help me out and make it possible for me to make it back home. You know who you are, and I have all the gratitude in the world for you. I feel so lucky to have such amazing friends. Just thank you. I've already thanked you. But I wanted to put this in this video so that when I look back at this video in 5 to 10 years, I can remember this in kind of the same way that I do now. And somebody's still playing trumpet literally all day. And look at how complicated, it's not actually that complicated. It's fairly simple. The water goes over here, temperature's here, shower and whatnot. Hello, shower. And one of the things that I bring back from Canada is Colgate. You can get Aquafresh in Japan, but finding stuff like Colgate is weirdly difficult, especially like the spearmint. Anyway, you know what? I do not want to finish this video in the bathroom. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you again real soon. I should mention that I also got a lot of DMs from you guys asking if everything was okay and where I'd been. I had done a little bit of a live stream on the Tokyo Lens Explore channel, kind of explaining what was going on, but that was the only announcement that I gave. And then I went radio silent, so I haven't really opened or replied to any DMs in the past maybe 3 weeks. So thanks for your patience and love. Glad to be back and looking forward to doing some more recording. Seriously, look at this egg. Can't believe they expect people to eat this. That is terrible. That is just